Legi luffy am fiwan Nini agfan mantadon Jamak salam Lolu lenyuham Lolu lafi mami bayuan.
Hi, it's your girl Soda2. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're returning, thank you so much for subscribing. So today's video, based on the title, I'm just going to be teaching some basic Wolof phrases and things that maybe if you have a Wolof friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, neighbor, co-worker, if you say this to them, they'll be super impressed. Or if you plan on going to Senegal or Gambia and just want to be able to like have basic conversations or give basic commentary when your friends speak, this is a video for you. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I'll first start out with like greetings. The majority of Senegalese and Gambian people are Muslim. So even non-Muslim people who live in Senegal and Gambia, everybody greets everybody with Assalamu alaikum, which is the Arabic Muslim greeting of peace be upon you. So everybody says Assalamu alaikum. You might hear some variations, Assalamu alaikum, if you're in Gambia, but that is how you say hello. And when someone says it to you, the way that you can respond is wa alaikum assalam. So wa alaikum assalam means and to you be peace as well. And then to ask how are you, so we have a whole thing called jamalanteh, and jamalanteh just means like giving each other peace. Our country is known for being peaceful people. There's even a song that's like but basically like we're very well known for just like wishing peace onto each other. And sometimes it can sometimes jamalantehs can be like super long for no daggone reason. At least for me, when I went to Gambia and Senegal to visit, when I went to visit extended family in the villages, we would jamalanteh for so long. And it's just a thing that you do, like you check in and make sure everybody that the person knows, like all of their family members, their neighbors, their friends, their dog, their cat are okay. So basically we start out by asking nangadef. So nangadef means how are you? So nangadef, nangadef. And the first sound is like a NG sound, so nangadef, nangadef. Nangadef is how are you? Usually we respond with mangfi, mangfi. Mangfi means I'm here, but it just means like I'm doing well. So nangadef. And if you wanted to ask me, Mangfi, that is how we ask how are you, and I'm good. And usually that's followed by a person, especially if they know you and you guys are family or you haven't seen each other in a while, they're gonna start asking about your family members or your friends or people that they remember that you're associated with. So for example, people usually ask me, Ana sa papa? So how's your dad? So they'll say Ana. Ana means where, but when I say Ana so-and-so, it means how is so-and-so doing? And usually you can say mungfi, like they're here, or you could say nyungfi, they're all here. So if I say ana sa wakir, so wakir means the people of your house or the people that live with you and all that kind of stuff. So ana sa wakir, you can say nyungfi dafindara. So usually people ask ana so-and-so, and then they follow after you answer, they say ba dafindara. Banyong si jam. So that just means, are they okay? Are they doing well? Are they at peace? And you would answer, wow nyung fidafandara, or wow nyung si jam. So that is just a brief introduction into jamalanteh. It does go a little bit longer, but that's typically what you'll hear. So if you're with a Senegalese or Gambian friend and they meet another Senegalese or Gambian person, you'll hear this back and forth thing of like, ana so-and-so, madafadara, mungsi jam marek, alhamdulillah, like that. And alhamdulillah is an Arabic word which means all praise or all thanks be to God, and we use it often between jamalanteh. So let's practice. Assalamu alaikum, nanga def, jam marek, ana sawakir, bada findara, jam marek, alhamdulillah. So you notice I was just saying jam marek, so I'm saying there's only peace. So I'm just checking and making sure and affirming that there's only been goodness with you and the people that are around you. So yeah, that is it for jamalanteh. Next is if you want to ask somebody's name. So usually in Senegalese and Gambian culture, we greet people that we know after a while, like friends and family members. We start out our greetings actually with the person's last name. So you can refer to somebody as their first name when you know them or you're related to them. But when you first see them, like let's say I go to my friend's house and I see her mom or her dad or her siblings, I start out by saying the mom, dad, or siblings' last names first. So usually when somebody meets you for the first time, one of the first questions they also ask you, other than how are you, is what's your last name? Tuda is first name, Santa is last name. So if I say Santabi, I'm saying what is your last name? So if somebody says Santabi, I would respond Drame. And then the person would respond with their last name. So whoever initiates by asking what is your last name, they also answer back their last name. So you guys can do this thing where you greet each other with your last name. And I'll try to demonstrate, okay? So I'll pretend to be two people by changing my positions. Okay. This feels so awkward. Santabi, Jeng. Drame, Drame, Jeng, Drame, Jeng, Drame, Jeng. So that's how we greet each other, and you'll hear it. And it seems, I guess, like from the outside looking in, it might seem a little bit strange, but this is how we greet each other. So you usually start out with the person's last name to acknowledge them and all that kind of stuff, just because usually your last name can tell somebody about like what tribe you're from or what area you're from or like what language you originally speak, because not everybody in Senegal and Gambia speak Wolof as their original language. Like it's not their first language, it might be their second language, but we usually always start out with last name. So even when I call my grandma on the phone, I always start out by saying yeah, Baji, and then she tells me Drame, and then we go back and do that, and then she asks me how I am and how my family is. But yeah, so that's what we do to greet each other. So you will really impress a Senegalese person if you're able to just ask them like what's your last name first before asking them for their first name. Now to ask somebody what's your name, you can just say notuda, notuda. To answer, you can say sodutu latuda, or you could just say sodutu, like that. So yeah, pretty simple and straightforward. Now, if you're probably in Senegal or Gambia, you might want to know like basic things like asking for directions or asking where the bathroom is or something like that, or asking for water. So I'll get into that next. First, let me go get some water for myself because I'm a little bit thirsty. Okay, I'm back. So after going on my little mini water break, something that I realized is that like actually I don't really know how to ask for water when I'm meeting somebody for the first time in Wolof, because typically in our culture it's very, very common that when you're a guest, we make sure we provide everything for you even before you ask for it. So usually somebody will bring out a plate with water, soda, tea, fruits, everything, because Senegal and Gambia are known for taranga. So taranga means like we make somebody really feel at home. We have a lot of hospitality. So I really actually don't know how to ask someone that I don't know for water without it sounding weird or unnatural. Usually, like let's say for example, I'm with my little cousin or with my nephew or something, I could be like, may mandoch manan. Or I'll say, balma nga may mandoch manan. Balma, wow, why am I speaking so fast? Balma nga may mandoch manan. Balma, which means like forgive me. And usually when we're asking somebody for something, we don't want to inconvenience them, so we usually start with balma. So balma nga may mandoch manan. Nga may mandoch manan. Mayma means to give me. Ndoch is water. Manan, so I can drink. Balma nga may mandoch. You can also say balma nga may mandoch. Balma nga may mandoch manan sounds a little bit more polite for some reason. So that is a way you can ask somebody for water. But usually, typically, I'm going to say 99.9% of the time you go to a Senegalese person's house or a Gambian person's house, they already are giving you water or offering you food to eat. So you won't need to like ask. If you do want to use the restroom, you could say ana wanakbi or ana dusbi. Wow, ana wanakbi. wanak. Oh, that sounds so like olden day. I don't know. But you could say ana wanakbi. So another thing that I wanted to do, so instead of just like asking for directions or asking how to get water and things like that, because I realized like I have not been in many situations where I'm doing that. Instead, I'm just gonna give some like basic etiquettes when you are in a Senegalese or Gambian household. So number one, we don't wear shoes in the house typically. Like we normally don't wear shoes in the house. So back home in Gambia, in my house, we usually have like a courtyard and then we have indoors, like inside the house. So inside the house, we never wear shoes, but in the courtyard, we wear silipas. That's what we call it in Gambia. It just means slippers or flip-flops around the house. But we do that because we just want to keep clean and maybe there's some dust or whatever outside. But normally no one wears shoes inside the house. So even in America, growing up, whenever I came home, I would take my shoes off downstairs, or I would take my shoes off once I got up the stairs and there's like a little platform thing. I would leave my shoes there, but we never walked in the kitchen or around the house with shoes on. So that's one thing that you can be mindful of. And if you're somebody who's like really grossed out by germs and you don't like to not have your shoes on in a house, first of all, Senegalese and Gambian people generally are very clean, mashallah, but you can just always wear socks. I know whenever I went to people's houses that maybe I didn't feel comfortable being barefoot, I would just wear socks just ahead of time, just in case. So if you're a germaphobe or you just don't like walking around barefoot, just take socks with you or wear shoes that already you're wearing socks with. But that's etiquette number one. A second etiquette is that, and this might come as like a culture shock, and not all Senegalese people do this, but we sit on the floor and eat, and we usually eat with our hands. So come prepared for that. They usually will give you like a spoon if you're a guest or if you're not used to eating with your hands, but we do eat communally. Sometimes, like depending on the household, I know sometimes my mom, when we had guests that weren't Senegalese or Gambian, she would give them their own plate of food because she knew that maybe they weren't comfortable eating together in a bowl with other people, because I think in American culture it's not common to eat in one bowl with a group of people. Maybe you're scared of germs or whatever it may be. But yeah, that's another etiquette, so just be prepared for that. And speaking of etiquette, this is another thing that if you know this, I think Senegalese people would be very, very impressed, or Gambians. But after eating, and this is something that my mom taught myself and my brothers, usually we say nekhna barina. So nekhna means it was delicious, barina means there was plenty of it. So when you say nekhna barina to the person who cooked the food, you're complimenting them and you're basically like telling them that like they fed you really well. So nekhna barina. So usually whenever I get up from a bowl or somebody gave me food and I ate it, I'll be like, thank you so much. Jerejef nekhna barina. So thank you is jerejef and then nekhna barina. And usually the person responds, yalna resak jam. So yalna resak jam is a dua. Yalna resak jam, which means may it digest well or may it digest with peace kind of thing. We really love peace in our language. So the person is making a prayer for you in return for you thanking them for their food. So if you go into a Senegalese or Gambian household, you might find a cup or a lota.
Salaam, editing Sorti here. So I realized that I forgot the word for lota in Wolof. It's satala. So we call it a satala. It's the literal same exact thing. I'll put a picture, but yeah. Back to your regularly scheduled program.
Or something in the bathroom. Usually it's used to put water and to wash yourself. So most of us, like I said, the majority of Senegalese and Gambian people are Muslim, and in our religion, we're supposed to wash with water when we're done, but I think it's also part of our culture. If you see that, just know that's what it's there for, and you can use it, you can try it out if you like. It feels nice and it feels clean, and then wipe with toilet paper and then just keep it pushing. We're really, really respectful to elders, so there's actually a special way that we greet when we see an elderly person. So it's kind of like a curtsy. We call it sukkah. So you don't have to go all the way down to the ground, but you can just go like this. So you see how I'm bobbing? I'm literally just bending one of my knees. So if I were to meet like my grandparents or something, I always say assalamu alaikum. I shake their hand and I do a little bit of a sukkah. So even you'll see older women, like for example, when I went to visit Senegal and Gambia with my mom would do this when she saw her uncles, and my mom was like in her late 30s, early 40s, but she still would sukkah whenever she would see her uncles who are of older age, or her aunts and things like that. It's just out of respect. So if you meet somebody older, you shake their hand and you suka a little bit, I think they'll be very much impressed. Maybe some expressions. So if you see something or hear something, so for example, you can say jerejef. So jerejef is thank you, jerejef. And we don't really have a word for you're welcome. Usually we just say nyokoboka. So nyokoboka means we shared it. And it's in a way kind of just saying like, oh, it was my pleasure. Like, because whatever I did for you, or whatever you're saying thank you to me for, both of us are benefiting from it, or both of us are getting goodness from it. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. So if somebody says jerejef, you can just be like nyokobok, or you can respond dudara. So dudara means it's nothing. So dudara. Grawut means it's not serious, like it's fine kind of thing. When you're asking for something, usually you say balma. Balma can mean forgive me, but it just means like I'm asking you for a favor, and so I'm really sorry that I'm inconveniencing you. So that's why we usually say balma nga jox ma kaspo, balma nga indil ma sama telephone, balma nga da 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 da. So usually that's what we say, balma. So maybe if you're with your friends or somebody that you're super comfortable with, and like I said, in a Senegalese or Gambian household, usually you'll never find yourself saying these things, because if you're a guest, you will always be fed and you will always be given something to drink and eat and just be made comfortable. But if you're hungry, how you can say I'm hungry is damagif. So damagif is I'm hungry. And if you're not hungry, the opposite is surna. Surna means I'm full. So usually if you're getting up from eating, guaranteed a person will tell you, even if you ate the entire plate of food all by yourself, somebody will still be like, hi, yo lekodi. So lekodi means you didn't even eat. So you could say, did it, surna, nehna barina. So like that. Maybe if you want to compliment somebody, you can say, rafetna. Wow, rafetna. So it's beautiful. Nehna. It's delicious, or it's good. So those are two ways to compliment. And I'm really sorry, I feel like there's more that I could teach you guys, but literally my brain is going blank. So please let me know if you have any questions about like things that you would like to learn in Wolof. I really am thinking to do this as like a monthly series, maybe do it like at the beginning of each month, just teach a list of like Wolof phrases or words or numbers or anything like that. Please do let me know. I really do enjoy putting this together because it makes me realize like I speak my language, Rosetta Stone. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Catch you guys in the next one, inshallah. I hope you guys are doing well and that the sun is shining brightly wherever you are. Until next time, inshallah, assalamu alaikum, peace and love. Bye bye.